welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany. So in this video, I will explain why I have been gone for so long and have not been posting anything. So yes, take a seat, have some tea or whatever you like to drink, and let's talk about week 25 of my pregnancy. Before we get started into all of what's been going on, let's go over some of the baby updates of week 25. Week 25, the baby is the size of a rutabaga. I don't know what a rutabaga is. I've never had a rutabaga, but it kind of reminds me of a turnip. But yeah, anyway, she is 13.5 inches and weighs 1.5 pounds. Your baby will soon exchange her long, lean look for some baby fat. As she does, her wrinkled skin will begin to smooth out and she'll look more and more like a newborn. And then she's also growing more hair. And this ad is covering what it's saying, so I can't really read it. But yeah, okay, so let's go into week 25 and what happened during week 25. This started on January 22nd. So yes, I am very late in the recording because I just haven't been feeling the best, but I'm now finally back to my 100%, which is why I'm back to recording. But yes, so on January 22nd, I developed a really bad headache. So that Friday, my head was like pounding really badly. And then I took some Tylenol, didn't think much of it. And then the next day at around 6:30, I started coughing, and then I had my headache was back and like my nose was congested and I just did not feel good. And then I remember me and Chad went home to go eat dinner, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel chills. Like I feel like there's chills on me. And then he was like, that sounds like you have a fever. And I was like, what? No, like there's no way I have a fever. So I went and took my temperature, and lo and behold, I did have a fever. It was a low grade fever though. It was 99.5, and I started freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Like getting a fever while you're pregnant is the worst thing ever. So I took some Tylenol and went to bed. And then the next morning I woke up, this is day 3 at this point, my fever was at a 99.9. And then at this point I was like, oh my goodness, like this is not good. So I took some more Tylenol and I was just feeling awful at this point. Like I had a fever, I had a cough, I had a stuffy and runny nose, and I napped for like 3.5 hours that day. So I was just completely out, and I was only waking up to eat and take Tylenol to make sure my fever was going down, because every time I stopped taking Tylenol, my fever would go back up, and it was really stressing me out. On day 4, when I finally had enough energy, I went and got tested for COVID-19, and I still had the same 3 symptoms this day. So the fever, cough, runny nose, and congestion. And then I went back to sleep and took another 3.5 hour nap. And then on day 5, that's when my fever finally broke and it was gone. So I didn't need to take any Tylenol on day 5. I was still coughing, and I still had a runny and congested nose. And then this day, I had a loss of smell and taste. So at this point, I still hadn't gotten my results yet, and I was just praying to God, like, please don't let it be Corona. Please don't let it be Corona. I don't want Corona. Because I feel like I had been so safe this entire pregnancy. Like, basically the only thing I did was go to work, and like, I always washed my hands, never touched my face. I always wore a mask everywhere I went. So I was just hoping that it wasn't Corona and that it was like a cold, but then I was Googling, and you typically don't have a fever when you have a cold. So I was like, okay, it might be Corona. But the moment I lost my smell and my taste, I was like, okay, yeah, like I definitely have it at this point. And I hadn't gotten my results yet, but I knew I had it because I literally could not smell anything. Like I literally just woke up that morning and I was like, bam, gone, like nothing. And it was just the strangest sensation ever, not being able to smell or taste anything. And then that afternoon, I did get a notification that my results were in, and I did test positive for Corona. So I was just feeling very frustrated and angry at this point, because I felt like I was doing everything I could to prevent this from happening. And I was just so worried that like one stupid little mistake that I might have done could really affect and harm the baby, because like being sick when you're pregnant is just not good. Like your immune system's suppressed, so you are more likely to get sick. So I was just so like just angry and frustrated, and I felt so guilty for having corona and like just super worried about the baby. But I called my doctor and she said like the baby would be fine. Like nothing happens to the baby normally unless you have a really bad fever. So as long as your fever stayed under 100, then it was fine. And like mine did. It never went over 99.9. Like that was like the peak. But a fever, she said anything over like 102 is really, really bad, and that you need to go to the ER at that point, pretty much, if you did have a fever that high. And then she told me to take some vitamin D, some vitamin C, and to just drink a lot of water. I also did a lot of walking. Like I tried to walk a little bit. It wasn't like a drastic amount. Like I wasn't walking like 3 miles, but I was trying to walk just like little short distances, because I had a lot of like phlegm, and I wanted to make sure that I was getting that out of my system and that it wouldn't settle in my lungs. On day 6 was when the exhaustion hit like so badly. Like I basically slept the whole day and my smell was just completely gone. Like we have this jar of curry in the fridge. I smelled that and like literally nothing. Like I could not smell that at all, which was, it's just so weird not being able to smell and taste when you've been able to smell and taste like your entire life, and then one day you just wake up and you're not able to do that. I developed a headache again that night on day 6, so I just went to bed early and called it a day. And then day 7, the cough got really, really bad, and it was kind of mucusy as well. And I just remembered coughing so much that like my side was starting to hurt. And like that really worried me, because I didn't know if coughing so much would harm the baby, but it just made like the side of my stomach really sore because I was coughing so hard throughout the day. My energy was also starting to come back on day 7. It wasn't like 100% back, but I was slowly starting to feel better, even though the cough was getting progressively worse. On day 8 and 9, I still had a cough and I still had a runny and congested nose, but on that day I was actually able to breathe through my nose, because up until then, like at night, I was just breathing through my mouth the whole entire night, and my like lips and my mouth was just so dry because I couldn't breathe through my nose at all at night. Smell and taste was still gone. And then I also had a little bit more energy on that day. But then on day 13, I felt so bad again. Like it was like all the symptoms were back. Like my nose was runny again. My nose was super congested. I was coughing a little bit again, and I was super, super tired, but my fever didn't ever come back. So I basically just slept that entire day because I felt like poop. Like I felt really bad again. On day 16, I thought that my smell and my taste were slowly coming back, but I wasn't sure, because I would get like random whiffs of something, but then when I would take the thing and try to smell it, I wouldn't be able to smell it. And then with my taste, I was only able to taste like something if it was sweet or salty, but I couldn't tell you what flavor it was. And so like, yeah, I couldn't tell whether or not my smell and my taste was back or not. But now, as of today, it's March now, and I can tell you that my smell and my taste have still not come back. Like I do still get like random like phantom smells, but when I try to smell it, it's not there, and I still can only taste sweet or salty. Like nothing really has flavor, although I've gotten kind of used to that by now. But the first couple days where I couldn't smell and I couldn't taste anything, that was very, very upsetting for me, because I was cooking and the food was burning. Like I normally multitask when I cook, so like while something's cooking, I'll go and chop something else and I'll keep an eye on that. But because I had no smell, I had no idea that our food was burning. And then I also not being able to taste anything, it was just really upsetting for me, because like everything is just so bland, and I was just so sad. But like I didn't want to complain, because at least like my case of COVID-19 wasn't super bad, and I was very lucky and blessed to still be here now and like be healthy and not have any complications with my pregnancy because of COVID. So yeah, I tried really hard not to like complain about that, because those two things, like losing your smell and taste, even though it is kind of a big deal, it wasn't a super big deal because I was still alive, I was still breathing, and I am healthy now. So very thankful for that. But just thinking about not having my smell, it does make me sad, because what if my smell still isn't back when our baby's born? I'm not gonna be able to smell her. Like, everyone talks about newborn baby smell, and this is our first baby and I won't be able to smell her. That just makes me so sad. And then I also won't be able to smell her poopy diapers, so that's not good. Like, I'm just constantly gonna have to be checking to see if she pooped or not, because I literally won't be able to smell it. So it's been a little over a month now since I have had COVID, and I do feel like my 100% self back again. So I am very, very thankful that my case was very mild. It wasn't that bad, even though I did feel awful. I healed fairly quickly, I feel, and there's nothing wrong with our baby. So I'm very, very thankful for that. But yeah, so everyone just stay safe and like wear your mask, because you never know what will happen. Like, I don't know how I got COVID, even though like I feel like I was being very safe. Like, I was constantly washing my hands. I always wore my mask, and the office that we work in, like, we make sure to sanitize everything before and after like a patient comes in. So we were being very safe in our office too, but I still somehow got it. So you just never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so that's why I've been gone for so long. Like, I just didn't have the energy to really record anything. Like, my last video was the trying on the pre-pregnancy clothes, and at that point I suspected that I had COVID, and I was like, I'll probably be home for a really long time, so let me know if y'all want to see anything. But no, like, I had no energy to record anything once like my like symptoms like really hit. It was bad. That was all of week 25. Like, I didn't really pay attention to anything else that went on with my body, so I can't even tell you what happened. But I was supposed to go to the doctor that week, but I had to cancel, so I didn't even see the doctor until like 28 weeks. I just wanted to make sure that like I was totally okay, so I wouldn't be spreading anything to anyone else in the office, especially being around other pregnant women. Like, our immune system is suppressed, so I just didn't want to take that risk. But yeah, so 25 weeks was a little bit crazy. Like, I still can't believe like I had it, I was just so sad about it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys do have COVID and you're pregnant, the doctor did tell me that the baby will be fine. Like, it should not affect the baby unless you do have a really high fever. Then that can be really dangerous for you and the baby. But other than that, just rest, drink water, eat food, walk around, and take some vitamin D and vitamin C, and you should be fine. Oh, also to mention, I did not take any cough medicine at all during this entire time, because I wanted to make sure that I was coughing out all the mucus, because it was like really like phlegmy in there, and I didn't want to keep that in my lungs in case it like turned into something worse. So I was just coughing as much as I could to try to get everything out of my system. And the doctor did say I could take magnesium for the aching of the side of my belly from coughing so much. So yeah, that was fine. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and everyone stay safe, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye.